lovely. Welcome to my channel. My name is Kenya. I'm a makeup artist, and today we're going to be creating a natural makeup look. If you're into the no makeup look, the clean girl aesthetic, the naturally enhanced makeup look, then this is definitely the video for you. Let's get into it. So the first thing I like to begin with is skin prep. Skin prep can make or break your makeup, guys. So you better make sure that you're doing a little something before you go ahead and apply your makeup. If you'd like to see a detailed video on how you can prep your skin for makeup, then let me know in the comments down below. For now, I'm just going to be using a moisturizer and some primers to get started. If you already have a skincare routine, go ahead and do just that. I'm going to be using this moisturizer from Divine Skincare. It's one of the local brands that I really enjoy. I like to apply a generous amount because my skin is quite dry. I want to make sure I lock all that moisture in before I go in with makeup. You also want to take it down the neck. In skincare, we treat the neck as an extension of the face. Make sure that everything you do for your face, you do for your neck as well. Whenever I'm going for a natural makeup look, I think of a dewy finish. I want it to mimic my skin as much as possible. And there's two primers that I like to use for that. The first one is this Fit Me Luminous and Smooth Primer. It's a hydrating primer, so I'm still reinforcing the moisture. And it also gives you a bit of a glow, which is what I'm trying to achieve. And then the next primer that I like to use, which is more really a skin illuminator, is this one from LA Girl. I'll use the Luminous and Smooth Primer on just the entirety of my face. This might not work for everyone, especially if you have oily skin. What I would recommend for someone with oily skin is probably just to apply it on the high points of your face where you naturally have that glow. So for instance, on your cheekbones as opposed to the whole face. Next, I'm going in with the illuminator I showed you guys, and I'm just going to apply it to the high points of my face. I think it gives a beautiful glow. You guys see it? Now that we're looking like a glazed donut, we can move on to the next step, which is foundation. If your goal is to achieve a natural makeup look, one of the things I want you to always have at the back of your mind is that less is more. So what I mean by that is always go in with less product, go in with a little, whether that's foundation, concealer, powders, whatever it is. You'd rather start with little and build up from there. I'm going to be using the Black Opal Even True foundation. This is in the shade Truly Topaz. One of the easiest ways to know if your foundation matches you perfectly is that when you apply it, completely disappears into the skin. I've put a little on the back of my hand. I'm going to just dab a little on my cheek. I want you guys to see what happens. So I'm just gonna apply just a tiny bit. You can use your brush, and when you blend it in, if that foundation is the right shade for you, it automatically disappears into your skin. Can you guys see that? So now that you know how to get the right shade of foundation, let's go ahead and apply it. By the way, guys, if you see me looking this way, it's because I'm looking at my mirror. Here it is. I like to use my finger just to place the product. I'm just gonna go ahead and blend it using a brush. You can use a beauty blender if you like. This Black Opal Even True foundation is definitely one of my favorite foundations, just because not only is it buildable, but it also has a really lightweight feel, dewy finish. I can just apply a little bit if I'm going for a natural look. I can also build it up for a full glam look. The trick with foundation is just to apply it in layers and to focus it more on the center of your face. So avoid putting too much product around this area or this area, and just focus majority of it in the center and the middle of your face, just to get that even canvas. We can move on to the next step, which is concealer. What you're trying to do when you apply foundation is to get an even canvas to work on. Concealer plays two roles. Number one, if after you've done foundation, you still need a bit more coverage, for instance, let's say that you have some dark spots, you can go in with a concealer that is closest to your skin shade and use it on those areas. The other thing that concealer does is it brightens your complexion. If you look at your face without makeup, you'll notice that you have a couple of different shades. You have some darker shades around the perimeter of your face, middle of your face, especially the area under your eyes, some of us here, the forehead area is a bit brighter than maybe the shade that you have on the cheeks. So after we have done the foundation shade, which has given us one shade, what we're trying to do is to bring back the dimension that we had before we put on the foundation. Does that make sense? That's another thing concealer does. It's going to bring back that spotlight that you had on the face before we did this. So I'm going to demonstrate what I mean by spot treating. So I'm going to be using this Dose of Colors concealer. I want it to be as close as possible to your shade, just so it can disappear into the skin, right? We're not trying to brighten at this point, we're just trying to cover. So let's say I had some dark spots on my cheek. Pick up a little of that product, and I would just go ahead and just place that product over there. Maybe I have a pimple here, another one here. Less is more with this, guys, and we're going to go ahead and brighten the look. Now, because we're not going for a full glam look, we're going to use just a little bit of concealer. I like to place a little here, a little here, same thing on the other side, maybe a tiny bit here on my chin, forehead, and now I'm just going to go ahead and blend it. Maybe middle of the nose, but I don't foresee myself contouring the nose, so I'm gonna skip that. So whatever you choose to use to blend is up to you. I'm going to be using the same foundation brush we used earlier on my chin. And as you blend, you just want to keep it in the area. Try not to spread it out. If you feel like you'll struggle using a brush like this, you can use a beauty blender instead. I'm using it to blend this area as well, and my forehead. Then I'm going to be using a smaller brush. This is an eyeshadow brush to blend the concealer under my eyes. Just tap, tap, tap. The same thing for the other side. If you feel like you need a bit more coverage, then go in with a bit more product. But for me, I'm just going to leave it this way. Now, I created this video with the beginner in mind, the person who probably just has foundation, one shade of powder, a concealer, and that's it. That's why right now I'm going to go in with a compact powder. I'm going to be using my black opal powder, and I'm just going to be using it with a brush. Just going to pick up a little, and then I'm going to place it in my under eye. So just making sure this is properly blended. I'm just gonna go back in with the brush that I used earlier, blend out the concealer, and then I'm going to quickly go in with a brush that I just used to pick up the powder right now, and I'm going to press it in. I like to use a brush just because I like the finish that it gives me. I'm still able to maintain that natural look. I think I get too carried away when I use the powder puff. So I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. Using the eyeshadow brush to blend out the concealer and going in with the powder brush. Just pressing that in. I think also because it's a fluffy brush, it doesn't pick up too much product, which works to my advantage. And I'm going to do that also for all the areas where I place concealer. Get around my mouth. And on my forehead. This is super easy, you guys, right? Tell me what you think. I'm going to go in with the same powder, and I'm just going to apply it to the rest of my face using a fluffy brush. Again, a fluffy brush ensures that it doesn't pick up too much product, because we don't really want it to take away that glow that we, put so much work into getting. So for this next step, we're going to be using a dark shade of powder to add some warmth and some dimension back to the face. So I'm using this angled brush, and I'm going to use it with the darker shade of powder. And you want to use this just on your cheekbone. And then you can use it around your jawline as well, along the hairline. So this just makes the face a bit warm, so the face doesn't look flat. Remember what I said about the face having dimension, having some areas that are darker, others lighter. That's what we're trying to bring back, and that's more likely to look natural because that's what your face looks like usually anyway. Now we're going to go ahead and quickly work on the eyes. By the way, guys, I should say you don't have to start with your face like I did. I think for me, it's just personal preference. But in some videos, you'll actually see me start with the eyes as well. So you can decide to do your eyes first, then go ahead and do your face. Brows are very personal, so you should definitely go with what you are into. I know some people like darker brows, they like them a bit more structured. So feel free to do that. For me, I prefer something more on the natural side, and that's what I'm going to be showing you guys today. When going for a more natural brow, honestly, if you have full brows, like your brow hairs are intact, you can just use concealer and be done with it. If you struggle like the rest of us and you have some gaps, I'm going to show you how to fill them in. So I like to use a Davis pencil, and then I'll go ahead and set it with dark brown eyeshadow. I'm going to use the Davis pencil to just mimic the brow hairs. I'm going to just use light strokes. You want to keep going back with your spoolie. You're doing this just to avoid any harsh lines. And then I'll use an angled brush, which I already dipped in a dark brown eyeshadow. You can also use black, depending on how dark you want them. And I'm gonna use that to fill in as well. So I want to fill in, say, from here. Just gonna run that through, just like that. I'm gonna do the same thing for the other side. Fill in a little bit with my Davis and use that to fill in the gaps, just like that. You want to brush away the excess. Next up, I'm going to go in with just a little bit of concealer to correct. I'm just going to use that to clean up this area, just sculpt a little bit. Don't need too much. Then go in with my eyeshadow brush and just clean that up. You can decide to also go over them, the top, with just a bit of product. So just make sure that it matches your skin tone so you don't get that halo effect. For this look, because I want to make it quick and as short as possible, I want it to be something that you can do when you only have 15 minutes to get ready. I'm not going to do a complicated eyeshadow look. In fact, I'm just going to show you guys what I do when I have to get done quickly. I'm just placing some concealer on my lids. Use my eyeshadow brush to blend that. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna set that with powder. So I'm picking my powder and I'm just using it to set the whole lid using the same brushes from earlier. This is the same brush I used to set my under eye, the same powder I used actually, the same concealer I used. So you see, you don't really need too much to get started. That's literally all I'll do, you guys. Next, I'm gonna do my mascara. What I like to do is take your brush, try to get as close as possible to where your lashes start. Move them side by side and then up. Side, side, up. Just like that. Same thing on this side. You can also just use the tip, get into the smaller lashes on the inner corner of the eye. Just like that. And now it's time to do lips. I'm gonna go for just a very simple lip. Feel free again to do whatever works for you. So you can decide to go for a bold lippy if you like, a matte. I just want to do a simple gloss, guys. So first I'm going to outline my lips with this Davis pencil. And I'm gonna use this lip gloss from Rainer Beauty, another local brand. It's in the shade Plum. And then I'm going to top it off with a clear gloss. I just use the back of my brush, you guys. I think it just glides so nicely. It's so much easier than a brush. To just add a bit of clear gloss. To finish off, I'm going to set the makeup, and I'm going to be using this dewy setting spray from Beauty Creations. that is the final look, you guys. This is my version of the no makeup look. Let me know what you think about it. I hope I've made it as simple as possible. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel because I'm going to be posting more and more of these videos and you don't want to miss that. Finally, leave me a comment letting me know what else you'd like to see and if this is a look you'd be open to trying. Thank you so much. Bye.